we have gathered to hear their stories, their experiences, their talents, their work, and the collaboration which we can take forward. So without further ado, now I request our chairman, Dr. Ajay Dega, who is the chairman for Associate Task Force on Multilingual Internet and Universal Acceptance and the CEO of Data Exchange Technologies, to kindly deliver his welcoming opening remarks. Thank you.
Very good morning, Saritaji. Before I start my address, I just want to say that how many of you don't understand Hindi? Anyone? Only one person. Nanu Bharata Kurimadan. समझ में आया? ऐसे तो समझना है. In Tamil, I understand these words only. Don't ask anything in Tamil with me. So I try to make these words to send a context that if I speak to you in the language which you do not understand, it is absolutely useless. And that is what we are going to talk today. How do we bring that connect from those people who do not understand English or who do not communicate in the language which they try to communicate. With this, I want to come to the welcome address. I really welcome Sri S. Krishnanji, Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. I thank you for coming here and spending your time with us. Shailesh Pathak, the Secretary General of City, is very busy. Getting in is also difficult when you're on event. Professor Rajat Punaji, trying to reach here. Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar. Vikram Bedi, Vice President in Country, that's Managing Director, Google Cloud. The global landscape is changing. We all know that. And in the context where the machines have started thinking, and that into the artificial intelligence there, and where few days before, our Honorable Prime Minister's speech was translated live in the languages where people would like to consume in their own language. That's where we are moving in that direction. In this diverse country of 22 official languages and 1600 plus dialects, the significance of multilingual internet cannot be overstated. India as a country, we boast 895 million internet subscribers. And when we talk about internet subscribers, we just don't want subscription or usage or consuming content. We want read and write both. So can somebody read and can somebody write over internet is the real use of internet. It's the second largest online market globally. However, to fully harness the potential of the internet as a unifying force, linguistic diversity must be embraced. When we talk about languages over internet, we normally refer just about text in Hindi. So if we talk about pmo.gov.in or bt.gov.in, it means we are referring to a domain name in English. In 22 languages we have population. There are almost 75% people who do not understand English. How do they go to that domain name? Is a barrier which we all need to break. Statistics indicate that 75% Indian population prefers content in their local or regional language, highlighting the demand for a multilingual internet infrastructure. And I am happy to share our Prime Minister echoes that in very clear words that nobody must be left behind and we must break the language barrier. By catering to the linguistic diversity, the internet becomes more inclusive, enabling a broader segment of the population to access and contribute to the digital realm. This inclusivity in turn plays a pivotal role in bridging the digital divide and fostering equitable socio-economic development. From a business point of view, a multilingual internet enhances communication and collaboration both nationally and globally. And let me tell you some numbers here. So when I was chairman of Global Universal Acceptance Study Group, we did a study that what is the market size of multilingual internet, which means for technologists. So it benefits to the end consumer or to the businesses which will take the benefit of the technology is far, far, far more. But in 5 years before we did this study, $10 billion was the direct benefit which the technology industry can get to enable multilingual internet. Imagine the impact, because now those people who just provide services in English, if they start providing services in Tamil, Telugu or Hindi, they have another reach of 75% consumers. That benefit is immense. That benefit has been not available. Now with the language of barriers being broken, we can enable those languages. If we talk about India, our nation is home to a thriving technology sector, contributing significantly to the country's GDP. The IT and software industry is growing at a rapid pace. We are having connection to 250,000 gram panchayats of India and optical fiber. That gives another very basic and urgent demand. We may have a connection, but we may not have an accessibility to the domain name and the language we want. Even if we have a content, we need to break that barrier, and government is taking all steps to do that. With 1.2 billion Aadhaar card holders, India is home to the largest population with a unique digital identity in the world. And let me tell you the challenge also which causes. So we may have Aadhaar card, we all have an Aadhaar card obviously, and we may have that number. So you can update your Aadhaar with your email address, right? And you can have your email ID in English. If you have an email ID in Hindi, will you be able to update that? Answer is no. That's these kind of challenges have to be broken. That is called universal acceptance challenges, and we have to break those challenges where person can completely live his life over internet in his own language without worrying about any other language. Digital services have improved the ease of living for citizens, and the sheer size of the Indian digital landscape points to a digital revolution in making, and multilingual internet will play a huge role in the same. We have seen this in the recent Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2003, which requires fiduciaries to provide notices in 22 Indian languages in addition to English, which is a huge step and which is going to make a huge difference also in the country. This fosters a more informed and engaged citizen, essentially for the functioning of a vibrant democracy. Along the same lines, to addressing the pressing needs for making online information content available to an increasing number of Indians, FICCI along with stakeholders launched the FICCI Indian Language Alliance, FICCI ILA, and that's the event we are having here. In the multilingual internet connecting people and transforming lives, the 2023 edition of Bhashantra, this one-of-a-kind language technology symposium, is the only national platform which talks about the importance of the Indic internet and language technology. We can't thank FICCI to address this and champion this cause. With this, I extend a warm welcome to all the distinguished and participants at this Bhashantra. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. I just request in the interest of time, since the secretary has to leave by 11:45, I request the speakers from the other speakers from the other session to kindly respect to the timing. Next speaker is Mr. Vikram Reddy, Vice President, currently Managing Director, Google Cloud. Mr. Reddy, Google has done a lot for the Indian industry. There are important initiatives have been launched. We look forward to their more.
Thank you, everybody. Respected Secretary, and the rest of the audience, welcome. I think Dr. Ajay spoke about India's potential in the vernacular and the Indic space, and the opportunities that we're starting to see come out of that space. At Google, we're seeing millions of Indians adopting content in their relevant languages. And this is no longer just a trend. We're seeing this as a revolution. And the role of technology is not just limited to accessibility. It's going way beyond that. It's getting into empowering people. It's getting into building communities. It's getting into providing personalized content, hyper-local focus, and mostly driving growth. Now, when we look at news, for example, we see a similar trend there. When people are consuming news in their relevant language, it's helping them empower themselves, as well as driving growth for them. Our language news user research, I'm going to read this out because there are some statistics here and I want to make sure I don't get them wrong. So our language news user research in collaboration with Kanta across 37 cities and 4,600 plus users showed us that content consumption across Bengali, Tamil, Telugu, Hindi and Marathi has hugely evolved. 70% of users referred hyper-local news from trusted sources. Trust was determined by simple language, news source credibility, and modern user experience. Users also used up to 5 news sources to discover, corroborate, and share the news. We also found a strong propensity towards mobile experiences, both mobile sites and apps, as well as users relied heavily on smartphones. That's not a surprise. However, some of the publisher pain points were also clear. We had slow, poor mobile optimization, low quality editing, lots of ads, interrupting perhaps, and then poor UX design. So what we did at Google was we took a step back and we said, how can we help? And we designed and launched our largest program in India to date in the news publishers space, which is the Google DNI Indian Languages program. This program was structured as a 6-month program starting from June to December 2023, and this includes various components to support and empower our largest cohort of 300 plus news publishers in India. Talking a little bit about the program, this program was delivered in 9 languages to publishers from 25 states and included scaled inspiration series, virtual workshops, diagnosis, one-to-one tech support, and mobile site and app development. This program has had a significant impact in the news publisher ecosystem. Page speed has soared from under 10% to 80% now. GA4 setup has hit 100%. News distribution on Google News has reached 82%. Native app adoption moved to 70%. Significant step up from the numbers that I read about before. Overall, this has been a big win for the publishers, with active users for the cohort increasing by over 30%. Today, with great pleasure, we are announcing the conclusion of the GNI program. At the end of this program, we are also further supporting a cohort of 70 publishers with funding enablement. The overall CSAT on this program was 4.6 on 5, with 400 participants across 300 plus publishers. We are proud of the impact that we have created with this program in the news publisher ecosystem, and we are looking forward to working with them to further grow their business. I also want to thank Vicky and the Managing Steering Committee to work with us, especially in terms of the principles in finalizing the final cohort. So thank you so much, everybody, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy, and it is happy to collaborate with you and to work for the Indian sector. Thank you all for your support. With this, from the industry, we move on to and we will have a detailed session discussing on the empowering publishers with the digital transformation during the day. So we look forward to the proceedings of that session, and definitely you will all get to know more insights about the Google's work and how we have been able to get those cohorts. Now with this, we move on to our next speaker, Professor Rajat Meena, Director, IIT Gandhinagar. Sir, the skill development and skill workforce in education is highly important. We look forward to hear your thoughts with respect to the language technology industry, which is of course the thing which we are talking right now, and it is going to be the backbone and lead of the job in new languages.
Thank you, Sarika ji, and all the distinguished people, delegates, on the dais, off the dais, Secretary Sri Krishnan ji, and Pathak ji, and everybody else. It is really a pleasure to be here and talk about some of these Indian language things which actually have been initiatives which have been going along. I think I was very, very pleasantly surprised to see Prime Minister, at the level of Prime Minister giving a speech in Hindi, simultaneously being on the fly converted to Tamil audience. in Kashi. That was a state that we have come to. And that's a very, very remarkable achievement of Hashini, Ministry of Information Technology. And I just want to retrace and say what happened, where we came from and where we have landed. In mid-70s, it was Ministry of IT that started a program on Indian languages. That was a time, just to remind people, codes were called ST codes, 7-bit codes. Ministry started with standardization of ISKI, Indian Standard Code for Information Interchange. Now that's not the only thing. So I just want to say what actually went around. ISKI code and ASCII code. Big difference because ASCII was basically as you move, you just kind of have a linear language. A will come after B, B will come after C, and just have a code, and code itself will actually convert it to the order in which it is going to be represented. But that's not the case in Indian languages. Indian languages, it was consonants and yuktakshars and matra modifiers and all that, which actually brought in too many glyphs, but the codes were not needed those many. And therefore, it required a major change, and that was a major departure from then technology. And people thought at that point in time, you guys are crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. And then, there were people who did not even trust us, saying that Indian languages can even be represented on systems, on computers. I remember myself getting involved in localization of Linux in 2006-07 time frame, and we actually brought out a variant of Linux at that time, where people could actually say things in Hindi, in Gujarati, in Tamil, in Telugu, and Kannada, and all that, could type in things and all that. Localization thing actually happened. It requires an enormous amount of data to be created. MIT started a program, corporate development, huge amount of work which was done for translation, huge amount of work which was done on transliteration. In fact, Ajay talked about saying, how do we actually convert or don't translate, for example, Google.Bharat, we should actually write it out as a URL. Now, these are nuances of translation system. Actual reality is translation and transliteration together will go for our kind of people. But then we were just talking about it, and we said, we are fortunate to be born in India. The languages actually came from a single source to start with, and let's say two sources, and then it proliferated, and then there is so much amalgamation that is happening today that the consonants and the nouns and various verbs are more or less similar. Like sentence formation is similar. And then when I go, for example, here to Madurai, and I talk to somebody in Hindi and he speaks to me in Tamil, I don't understand anything, he doesn't understand possibly much. But then English actually becomes a thing, and I never talk to him in Hindi. It is actually a broken English mixed Hindi mixed Tamil. Okay? And he also replies exactly the same way. I think in India, language is a single common tool which has connected a variety of people. Okay? However, we still have not been able to connect everybody. It's only about 10, 20, 25% people whom we have been able to connect has changed the way country actually looks upon itself and the world looks at the country. One day I was with Dr. F.C. Kohli, the great pioneer, Brian of Indian computing scenario. And he told me that with the English knowledge, with the English programmers, country has become a superpower in IT. Just imagine if everybody on the roadside can actually do programming. All you need to do is just define Indian language programming. Programming, of course, since then has changed a lot. It is integrated programming rather than typing-based thing, and it has actually come about in a major way. But then the fact is that we have numbers on our side, we have strength in our side, and we can connect all of them together. It will actually have a huge thing. And with that motivation, with that kind of a thing, I think academia is all poised up, is all geared up to to actually take these challenges of future. At IIT, huge amount of research in NLP and various other things are taking place. Artificial intelligence is a big thing. Many IITs have started BTech programs and MTech programs in artificial intelligence. IIT Gandhinagar, we started this program last year. And I think more and more such things are actually going to be seen in time to come. And such programs are immediately seen as people are actually looking for, taking up these programs. The students are seeking such programs and all that. I think in time to come, AI is going to take a major lead in variety of things, whether it is our healthcare sector, whether it's our industry, whether it's our education and everywhere else. But I think the biggest achievement that AI is going to bring in is connectivity for people, where people can talk and listen in various different languages. And if you really want to know, and this is what I was saying, how this 25% people can actually be illiterate, all you need to do is just go in China. In some local place, you will actually not be able to communicate, you will not be able to understand, you will not be able to read. Words like taxi and airport, they don't exist. And suddenly you see how the world is. Think of it exactly the same way with people here, when maybe with 5%, 10%, if they are not exposed to variety of things, how life can actually be, and bringing Indian language closer to their footsteps is going to be a big thing. I'm very happy that FICCI has arranged this particular event, and with all the best wishes to FICCI, and may this event be very successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar, for your kind words. And like you said, 75% of our population do require to have the communication done in their own country.
Please, sir, in the interest of time.
So you have a man who has
yes.
experience across all.
So I'm mindful that Mr. Krishna has to leave at 11:45, and he's one of the most erudite, thoughtful, and articulate leaders in Indian public policy. So dignitaries in the dais, in the audience, I'll only talk about 4 issues. One is Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry will take the lead in making sure that there is a complete, conversation and synergy between government, industry, and academia and research. And a great example is this guy. You have a stalwart from government, you have stalwarts from industry, and you have Professor Mura, Director IIT Gandhinagar. So this is what we will constantly try to do in every single business area: government, industry, and academia and research. The first. The second is a quick question. How many of you know the full form of a generative pre-trained transformer? GPT. Yeah. And because of pre-trained transformers, GPT is just one of them, and large language models, I am very confident that whatever is the data set today for language translation on the fly, in the next 5 years it's going to go. And this reminds me of my visit to Canada, where I came back and I told the Canadian High Commissioner, the ambassador, saying, I'm very impressed. In Canada, you have the 2 language formula. For everything, you have English and French. And he pulled out a 100-rupee note and he said, I speak 22 languages here. So we have a scale challenge. But in terms of the impact that it has on Indian industry, for a long time, since independence in fact, good English knowledge was considered as a sign of intelligence. I'll repeat this. Because I knew English, I was considered intelligent. If I didn't know English, I was considered unintelligent. But there is so much talent across India of people who may not know English. And that is what our initiative is all about. Yesterday we also saw Prime Minister and his online translation summit. I'm not going to dialects here, because Tamil as in Chennai is different from Tamil as in Coimbatore, is different from Tamil as in Kanyakumari. But broadly, if you have the same base, the Tamil speaker will understand now let's talk about the future. I say that the access of industry to the Indian consumer has already been demonstrated by the media community. We all know that most of us are consuming WhatsApp videos or other videos on our mobile phones. And the private sector is very quick to spot this opportunity. It knows that the growth is happening in the Indian language media. I would request everyone not to use the word vernacular because the root of vernacular is slave. Languages of slave. And this was an English colonial word. Let's not use vernacular, let's use Indian language. In the next 5 years, if the access of the Indian consumer can happen online to any other Indian language, then I'll be able to read the Ponniyin Selvan in English or Hindi. With that, let me invite Secretary Maiti, who has to leave, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Rishi, for such a tone for the Vegetarian Power Nation. I now request our Secretary, Rishi Espeshi, to kindly deliver his inaugural address and compliments to you, sir, and the team of Varshney for the successful execution of the online translation earlier today.
Good morning to you all. Dr. Ajay Deta, Mr. Sailesh Pathak, Mr. Vikram Devi, Professor Rajat Mona from Calcutta IIT Gandhinagar, and Ms. Sarika Ujjani, Director FICCI. I will be out of sheer necessity, but I must really compliment FICCI for, you really established yourself as the foremost business federation in India. Today morning's event has been conducted in an absolutely business-like proper fashion. So I think that tells indicate how business-like and professional the federation is. My compliments to you for that. I don't know how many of you went to universities and colleges in the late 70s and early 80s. One of the most popular books that we used to read those days was something called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That was that. And that used to have this thing of the table fish, which you put in your ear and it would speak any language in the universe and you could converse easily. Many of us felt that it's pure science fiction and it would never happen. But I think we are close to achieving what was science fiction barely about 30-35 years ago. So in our lifetime, you are actually seeing almost simultaneous translation becoming a reality. I think, as was pointed out, the backing which, say, the Honorable Prime Minister provided, and the trust in the technology, which was something that he demonstrated yesterday at the Kazim Samaroh, gives a real fillip to the efforts in this direction. And what was even more happening was in the recent GK summit that we held last week in Bharat Mandapam, of the nearly 150 stalls at that location, more than half would have been having some application of this automatic transmission. And all the large companies, Google is of course represented, but even others, Meta, and a whole host of others, have these language applications in terms of how you can translate across different Indian languages almost simultaneously. Many of us, very often we talk about official languages and the need to work in official languages. You must understand that official languages traditionally were languages of the rudiments. India's history shows that at various points in time, at one point in time, Sanskrit was the language of the elite and was used in official languages. If you look at the 6th century BC, Buddhism and the use of Pali and Prakrit was a rebellion against the use of Bible. Right? Likewise, as you come further down, there was a tendency during the Delhi Sultanate period and later during the Mughal period where they used Persian as a language. It is the language of the rulers which is used, and not language which people understand. When the British came in, they brought in English as their preferred language. Again, the language of the rulers and not the language of the people. So, post-independence, the one thing that we try to do certainly is to use the language of the people, use it in a way which is simplified and in a way that everybody can understand. Many of us, through our working lives, this has been more of a dream in the sense of how we simplify language, how we are able to people to understand it, how do you enable people to use it to access various services across government services, now even a large number of private services too. Technology is going to give us some solutions which did not exist before this technologies. On a technology platform, we are able to actually enable this and ensure that this technology intermediated language is available for us. And almost every application in due course of time should be accessible and easily done when this requirement arises, when there is a need to transact business, when there is a need to converse and find out what people want. It's only a matter of time that it happens. And you see, the problem is that oftentimes, I'm very fond of this one example I remember from my days as a district collector, how people understand languages and the words that we use, when we use it in a real language as opposed to using it in the language that person knows. The word for loan or rin in Tamil is karan, right? So, a lady came and said, and she used English in the rest of the conversation in Tamil, but that English. The equivalent of that translated into Hindi that everyone understands. It's very loan. So, then I asked her back in Tamil, oh, आपको ऋण चाहिए? मुझे ऋण नहीं चाहिए, मुझे लोन चाहिए. Do you want a current? No, I don't want current, I want loan. Because they understand the terminology itself. That's how alienating using other languages can be, even in terms of a single term. Because what she believed in was that when you called it a loan, it was almost like a subsidy or it was in those these were the days of the IRDP loan, so she presumed that she didn't have to pay it back. Whereas she understood very well what a current was, that it was something that had to be paid back. A very real understanding of what it is. So understanding how the rules of the economy work, understanding how the rules of business work, understanding how the rules of government work in their own language is absolutely critical. And I think that is where we can truly democratize almost every aspect of life if we are able to use the language of the people in a significantly greater way. And that is applicable as of course is illustrated by everybody, is applicable as much to business as it is to government and as it is to government. So I think that is the thing that we really need to change. It is true that globally when you look at it, if you look at the European Union, the UK has come out of the European Union, that English continues to be one of the languages that we use increasingly within the Union so that it becomes common for various services. For navigation, globally you use English. And there are certain applications where you use English and it becomes important. But while it can be a language of business to some degree, if you really need to democratize it, if you really want greater participation, if you really want people to feel involved in the process, it's absolutely essential that we get into local languages, and that's where I think we've been able to do it through this application. The last point that I want to make today is that emerging technologies, whether it is in the form of language or other aspects, are becoming increasingly more important, and they represent a huge opportunity for the global economy and for the Indian economy as well. And at the same time, I think it's important that as more content is available across Indian languages, as more Indian languages go into large language models and other forms of models, the inherent biases that you have in using data which is derived only from certain segments or certain languages does so. So I think if we have to develop foundational models which are relevant to countries like India, and if India is able to offer on a population, on a continental population scale, then India then has the opportunity to present this to the rest of the world as alternatives. So it is an opportunity really to demonstrate leadership across the world. So I think what all of this offers is one, an opportunity almost equal to what the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century was for the country to grow. And two, an opportunity really for India to leapfrog and be in a leadership position to take it across the world. And I think this historic opportunity is something that we should not miss. But more than for anything else, I think we need to do it for our own people, for our own, for the need to democratize development, for the need to sort of take opportunities, provide more and more and improve opportunities for our own people. So for all these reasons, I'm really happy today to participate in the Vashantra 2023 event, which is being organized by FICCI. I welcome this convergence of looking at industry, academia, and government together so that we can move the needle forward on important issues of the sector. It's a very forward-looking effort, and I thank you for having put this event together, and I really am eagerly awaiting the outcome of what all of this will represent to the way that we can deliver services significantly better to our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, starting from Connecting India, transforming lives, India leading and becoming a leadership institution. Thank you. Today we have a discussion on very important subjects starting from emerging technologies, focusing on various languages, building up the skilling efforts, empowering publishers through digital transformation, and various other activities. So that's what the Vashantra will talk about, and we will bring back to you the proceedings of the conference once it's done, and thank you for your support. With this, can I request a round of applause for the inaugural speaker, please? I would now like to thank our partners, Google, Meta, and Microsoft for being supportive for joining this initiative. The speakers will join us for the inaugural session. Special thanks to the Secretary Sir, our Secretary General, Mr. Pathak, Mr. Vikram Bedi. Thank you, sir, for joining, and we look forward to have a more deeper relationship with Google and taking this things forward with more initiatives together. Our Chairman, Dr. Educator, and of course, Professor Rajat Pura for joining us today. Thank you, audience, for being supportive, for your participation, and look forward to your more active engagement throughout the day. We have set up sessions being planned. We have a small tea break now. It is outside, and then we move on to the session in the conference room. And more which is on the second floor, please join us there. Thank you all.
Thank you.